Have you ever heard of a sacred text so old and mysterious that it challenges everything we thought we knew about the Bible? A scripture where Eve isn't just a companion made from Adam's rib, but a being of celestial light, born from the essence of the divine. This isn't fiction. This is the Ethiopian Bible, a hidden treasure buried deep within the mountains and monasteries of Ethiopia, guarded by monks for centuries. Unlike the modern Bible, this version holds books that were long forgotten or deliberately removed, revealing a version of humanity's origin that most have never imagined. Dating back over 1,500 years and written in the ancient Semitic language of Ge'ez, this Bible is older than most known versions of the scripture. To understand how ancient that is, imagine a world where the Roman Empire still cast its shadow over Europe. What truly sets it apart is its sheer size, 81 books in total. That's far more than the 66 books in the Protestant Bible, or even the 73 found in the Catholic version. And within these extra texts lie some of the most mysterious writings ever discovered, like the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, works that mainstream Christianity considered lost or even dangerous. One of the most mind-blowing revelations comes from the Ethiopian account of the Garden of Eden. In a sacred text known as the Book of Kings, Eden is portrayed not just as a paradise on earth, but as a mystical realm where heaven and earth meet. It speaks of rivers made of divine light, a radiant place where the Creator's presence flowed freely, almost like a portal between two dimensions. This vision completely reshapes the story. It's not just a garden, it's a cosmic bridge. And these differences matter. They're not just poetic flourishes. They reflect a radically different understanding of where we come from, why we exist, and how early cultures perceived their connection to God and the universe. In this video, we're going to explore three key revelations. First, the Ethiopian Bible's extraordinary version of how Adam and Eve were created. Second, its powerful and symbolic take on the Garden of Eden and the fall of humanity. And finally, the profound wisdom these ancient writings still hold for us in the modern world. This isn't just about uncovering old texts. It's about rethinking everything we thought we knew. This ancient manuscript from the highlands of Ethiopia doesn't just add to the biblical narrative, it transforms it. It opens a window into a worldview where light, spirit, and divine connection take center stage. So let's begin this journey, not just through time and scripture, but into a deeper understanding of who we are and where we truly come from. The secrets of the Ethiopian Bible have waited long enough. According to the Ethiopian Bible, the creation of the first human wasn't a simple act of forming a body from dust. Instead, it was a sacred gathering of divine elements, earth collected from the four corners of the universe, each infused with unique cosmic energy. In one of its most powerful texts, the Book of Kinast 3:12-15, it recounts, the Creator dispatched angels to the far reaches of existence, the east, where the dawn awakens, the west, painted with the glow of twilight, the frozen north, where the breath of the stars lingers, and the south, full of life and warmth. From these realms, the angels brought sacred earth, moistened by the dew of heaven and bathed in starlight. This version isn't just poetic, it's cosmic. It suggests that humanity wasn't merely shaped from the soil of one location, but from the essence of the entire universe. It paints a vision of Adam not just as the first man, but as a being formed from celestial balance, carrying within him the elements of all creation. This reveals an extraordinary level of intention and reverence in the creation of humanity, far beyond the brief account in Genesis. The Ethiopian Bible presents Adam not as just another creation, but as a vessel crafted with cosmic precision and divine care. But what truly sets this version apart is what happens next, the moment life enters Adam. In the book of Kafal 2:23-27, it says, when Adam's form was completed, the Creator did not breathe mere life into him. Instead, he placed a divine spark within, a fragment of his own spirit. This spark ignited within Adam's eyes, making them shine like crystal, able to perceive even the unseen realms. It doesn't stop there. The book of Enoch 12:4-8 adds, an almost cinematic moment, and when Adam first opened his eyes, a brilliant light burst forth, so radiant that it lit up the entire garden. The angels had to shield themselves, for the light in Adam's gaze carried the same essence as the Creator's own divine light. These passages suggest that Adam wasn't just alive, he was luminous, More than flesh and breath, he was part divine, his very sight infused with the spiritual power of the Creator. It's a vision that redefines what it means to be human. These vivid details aren't just poetic. They reflect a deep theological concept, that humanity was designed to carry a spark of the divine, not just in spirit, but in structure, mind, and purpose. Adam being formed from the four corners of the universe isn't just symbolic. It implies that humans are a fusion of all creation's elements, meant to live in harmony with the cosmos itself. Further insight comes from the book of Cast 3:28-30, where it is written, "And the Creator taught Adam the language of the angels, so he might grasp the secrets of the universe." Adam received the power to name each thing by its true essence, for in his gaze burned the light of divine wisdom. This changes everything we think we know about language. In this version, the first language wasn't just about communication. It was a spiritual force, a bridge between the human mind and the fabric of reality. To speak was to shape, to name was to know intimately. It's no wonder ancient cultures across the world revered words, chants, and names as sacred tools with mystical power. In Adam's voice was the echo of creation itself. As remarkable as Adam's creation is, the story of Eve in the Ethiopian Bible turns everything we thought we knew on its head, and it's nothing short of revolutionary. Contrary to the familiar narrative of Eve being formed from Adam's rib, the Book of Chronology 4:8-12 offers a stunning alternative. And while Adam lay in deep slumber, the Creator gathered the purest light from the morning stars, crystallizing it into the form of Eve. Her body glowed with the softness of the moon, and her soul held the wisdom of the angels. This vision of Eve isn't just different, it's powerful. She wasn't made from man, but from celestial light. She wasn't derivative, she was divine in her own right. And the Book of Chronology 3:4-7 takes it even further. Eve was not born from Adam, but was her own creation, infused with divine light. To her was given the sight of hidden things, and the understanding of mysteries Adam could not perceive. This challenges centuries of doctrine. It doesn't just elevate Eve, it reframes the entire concept of spiritual equality. In this version, man and woman were not creator and created, but two luminous beings, each holding unique reflections of the divine. One of the most beautiful and haunting aspects of the Ethiopian Bible is the way it portrays the bond between the first humans and the Creator. In the book of Enoch 15:8-11, it is written, "Each morning, as the dew kissed the earth, Adam and Eve would hear the footsteps of the Creator walking through the garden. His voice flowed like a song, and his presence cast a golden light over all things, as if the entire garden had been touched by heaven." This was no distant God. They walked with him, spoke with him, lived in his light. It was a relationship of intimacy and radiant closeness, but their connection went even deeper. The book of Chronology 5:15-18 reveals, Adam and Eve saw what the eye could not see. They heard the voices of angels, understood the speech of birds, beasts, and even the wind. They could perceive both the memories of the past and glimpses of the future, for the divine light still burned in their gaze. These were not just human beings, they were guardians of a sacred awareness, but with that divine perception came a solemn charge. The book of Kufa 3:20-23 offers this solemn reminder: with great power was entrusted great duty. Though they had the freedom to choose their path, they were also bound to face the weight of their choices. This was the first covenant between heaven and humanity. These writings don't just reshape our understanding of Adam and Eve, they redefine what it means to be human. We were not simply made to obey, we were made to choose, to know, to carry light, and to carry the cost of that light. This naturally leads us to a powerful and unsettling question. If Adam and Eve were created in such divine perfection, why did they fall? How could beings so radiant, so wise, and so connected to the Creator fall from grace? And perhaps more importantly, what exactly did they lose? The answers unfold in the Ethiopian Bible with details that are both profound and shocking, especially when it comes to the garden itself and the nature of the temptation. According to the Ethiopian texts, the Garden of Eden wasn't merely a physical place on earth, it was something far more mystical. The book of Chronology 6:1-5 describes, "The Garden of Eden was placed upon a great mountain where the earth kissed the edges of heaven. From its peak flowed 4 crystal rivers, not of water, but of pure divine light. The air was thick with the essence of eternal life, and each breath taken within the garden bestowed wisdom upon the soul. This wasn't just a garden, it was a sacred threshold, a meeting point between the physical and the spiritual realms. To live there was to live in constant communion with divine truth, and within this paradise, the relationship between humans and their Creator was intimate and luminous. There were no barriers, no veils, just pure presence. It was a life of clarity, vision, and peace. But as we'll soon see, the very qualities that made Eden paradise also made it vulnerable. Because where light dwells, shadow can also seek to enter. And the story of the fall, in this version, is unlike anything you've heard before. The book of Kafal 4:8-12 paints a stunning picture of daily divine encounter. Each evening, as the garden turned golden in the twilight, the Creator appeared in the form of pure light. Adam and Eve spoke with him directly, learning the hidden laws of the universe and the sacred language shared by all living things. It was a paradise not just of peace, but of enlightenment, a place where knowledge flowed freely from the Creator to his creation. But the most surprising revelation comes with the rules that govern this sacred space. In the Ethiopian book of Enoch 16:15-19, we read something radically different. Within the garden stood 3 sacred trees: the tree of life, which granted immortality, the tree of knowledge, which revealed the understanding of all things, and the tree of light, the fountain of all divine energy. Adam and Eve were permitted to partake of the tree of life and the tree of light, but they were not to approach the tree of knowledge until they reached full spiritual maturity. This changes the entire narrative. The forbidden tree wasn't forbidden forever. It was a gateway, meant to be opened only when the soul was ready. The command was not a punishment, but a protection. It wasn't about blind obedience, but about timing, about growth. The Ethiopian version introduces a profound concept that humanity was always meant to evolve spiritually, to grow into its potential, and that knowledge, in its purest form, required preparation of the heart and mind. This casts the fall not as an act of defiance alone, but as a tragic shortcut, an attempt to seize divine wisdom before it could be truly understood. What stands out in the Ethiopian Bible is the breathtaking portrayal of the Garden of Eden, particularly in the book of Kebra Nagast 7:3-7. The ground in the garden was as clear as crystal, reflecting the radiance of the heavens. The flowers did not merely release fragrance, but produced angelic music as the wind whispered through. Every creature in the garden glowed with its own light, creating a harmony of sound and light. This description paints Eden as a living symphony, where every element of nature was alive with divine energy, resonating in perfect balance. It's a place where beauty and harmony were not just visual, but felt deeply in the soul. But what truly takes us by surprise is the Ethiopian Bible's portrayal of the temptation story. In contrast to the simple image of a serpent, the book of Kufa 5:1-5 presents a far more striking and disturbing vision. The tempter appeared in the form of a being of light, similar to the angels. It didn't just speak with words, it wove illusions of the future, showing promises of boundless power and knowledge. The tempter wasn't just an entity, it was a master of manipulation, using light and illusions to ensnare the mind. It wasn't a mere voice, it was a full sensory experience designed to deceive. What's especially intriguing is the way Eve was tempted. In the book of Kynast 8:12-16, the tempter's offer is revealed in a stunning way. The tempter did not promise Eve knowledge alone, but the power to create, to shape light and life as the Creator himself. It showed Eve visions of a world she could craft, where she alone would determine the laws of nature. This is not simply a temptation for knowledge, it's an offer of godlike power, the ability to control creation itself, to become the architect of life. It's the temptation to transcend the role of a created being and become the Creator. However, the true consequences of their choice are made painfully clear in the Ethiopian book of Enoch 17:8-11. When Eve gave the forbidden fruit to Adam, their once crystal-clear eyes began to cloud. The divine light within them slowly faded, and for the first time, they felt darkness, not just around them, but within their very souls. This passage presents a profound understanding of sin. It's not about breaking a rule, It's about a gradual internal transformation. It's the loss of the divine essence within them, a retreat from the sacred light that once filled their beings. The Book of Kenest 9:14 sums it up with chilling clarity. When the Creator came to the garden that afternoon, Adam and Eve could not look directly at his light, not because he had changed, but because they had lost the ability to see the divine. What these revelations offer is a completely new framework for understanding the fall. It wasn't merely an act of disobedience, it was a tragic, irreversible shift in their very nature, a step away from the divine potential they were created with, driven by personal ambition and the desire for control. This isn't just a story about the past, it's a mirror reflecting the deeper consequences of forsaking one's true spiritual essence for the pursuit of power. This brings us to a deeply important question. If humanity was once endowed with such extraordinary abilities, is it possible to restore what was lost? The answer to this question unfolds in the next section, where we will explore the far-reaching consequences of the fall and the path to redemption. Have you ever wondered why, across cultures, there seems to be a universal sense that humans are incomplete, as though something essential has been lost along the way? The Ethiopian Bible offers an astonishing explanation for this feeling of loss. In the book of Kebra 10:15, it is written, "When the divine light left Adam and Eve, not only did their bodies become heavy and dark, but the very nature around them shifted. The flowers no longer sang angelic melodies. The ground lost its crystalline clarity, and the once familiar language of the creatures became a mystery to them. The entire world seemed to change when Adam and Eve fell. The divine radiance they once shared with all of creation faded, and the harmony of the garden was lost. The language of all things, which once connected them to the very essence of the universe, became unintelligible. It was as if the veil between humanity and the divine had been drawn shut, leaving the world feeling distant, fragmented, and alien. This profound shift is the origin of that deep universal longing, the sense that something has been lost and that the world is not as it was meant to be. The fall was not just a loss of paradise, but a loss of a connection to the divine order of creation itself. What is truly shocking is how the book of Kafal 6:8-12 describes the cosmic repercussions. The fall of Adam and Eve created a fracture in the very fabric of reality. The heavenly light could no longer flow freely to earth. The 4 crystal rivers of the Garden of Eden slowly transformed into ordinary water, and the distance between heaven and earth began to stretch ever further. This revelation offers a profound explanation for why our world feels incomplete, as though something essential is missing. It wasn't just a moral or spiritual decline, it was a fundamental rupture in the very structure of existence itself. The fall didn't just affect Adam and Eve, it caused a cosmic shift that altered the flow of divine energy and separated the material from the spiritual. The Ethiopian Book of Enoch 18:15-19 adds another layer to this understanding. Before the fall, Adam and Eve could see both the past and the future, understand the language of angels, and feel the presence of the Creator with every breath. After the fall, they could see only the material world, and the memory of their lost abilities became an unhealable ache in their souls. They could no longer access the full scope of their being. What was once a harmonious connection to the Creator and all of creation became a distant memory, forever lingering as a deep spiritual longing. One of the most striking details is found in the book of Kenest 11:3-7. When Adam and Eve looked at each other after the fall, for the first time they could no longer see each other's souls. Instead, they only saw the outer skin. This is why the text says they realized they were naked, not in the physical sense, but in the nakedness of the soul. No longer surrounded by divine light. This loss wasn't just a change in perception, it was the loss of a deep spiritual connection to each other and the Creator. They no longer saw the divine essence within one another, but only the external form. Their spiritual vision had been clouded, and what was once pure and radiant was now concealed beneath the veil of material existence. Perhaps the most important lesson the Ethiopian Bible offers about the fall is the lesson of freedom and responsibility. In the book of Kwale 7:1-4, it is written, "The freedom to choose is the most divine gift the Creator gave to Adam and Eve, but it is also the greatest test. Every choice not only affects themselves, but ripples through the entire fabric of reality." This perspective challenges our understanding of free will. It's not just a gift, it's a profound responsibility. Every decision we make carries weight, not only for our own lives but for the world around us. The fall was a result of this freedom, and, in a way, it exemplifies how our choices can alter the very nature of existence. What is truly surprising is how the Ethiopian Bible offers a path toward redemption, even after such a devastating loss. The Ethiopian Book of Enoch 19:8-12 brings hope by revealing, although the divine light has dimmed, it has never been completely extinguished in humans. In every soul, there remains a small spark, a seed of the original divine potential. This is the foundation of the hope of redemption. No matter how far humanity has fallen, there remains a trace of that original divine spark within each person, a reminder that redemption is possible. The journey may be long, but the potential for restoration is always present. The Book of Konast 12:5-9 expands on this by describing, the Creator's mercy is not about erasing the consequences of the fall, but about granting humanity the opportunity to gradually restore what was lost. Every act of kindness, every moment of deep understanding, brightens a little of the remaining divine spark in the soul. Redemption, according to the Ethiopian Bible, is not about an immediate, sweeping change, but a slow, steady restoration. One action, one moment of compassion at a time. The divine spark in each person is waiting to be rekindled, and it's through our choices, our kindness, and our understanding that we can gradually restore the light that was once lost. This is a deeply hopeful and practical message. It suggests that redemption is not a single, instant event, but a long, ongoing process of restoration, one that involves reconnecting with our true, divine nature. The Book of Kwale 8:15-18 sums this up beautifully. The path back to divine light is not a journey to return to the Garden of Eden, but a journey toward a higher state of consciousness, where humans can retain the freedom to choose while living in harmony with divine intent. These teachings from the Ethiopian Bible offer more than just insights into an ancient past. They present a framework for understanding humanity's present condition and the way forward. By truly understanding what we have lost, we can begin the profound journey of restoring our inherent divine abilities, reawakening the spark that resides within each of us. This brings us to the next section, where we will compare these unique insights with those of other religious traditions, exploring their deeper significance for the modern world. Let's begin by comparing the Ethiopian Bible with the Hebrew Bible, starting with the creation of man. In Genesis 2:7, it states, "The Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being." But in the book of Kebra-Nagast 3:12-15, we read, "The Creator gathered earth from the four corners of the universe, each part bearing a different divine quality, and breathed into it not just life but a spark of his own divine essence." This is not just a minor difference. It reflects a radically different view of human nature. The Hebrew Bible emphasizes the earthly origin of humanity, grounded in the material world, while the Ethiopian Bible presents humans as beings that, from the very beginning, possess a divine nature, carrying with them a piece of the Creator's essence. Another intriguing comparison arises when we look at the creation of Eve. In the book of Kwale 4:8-12, it is written, "Eve was created from pure light, not from Adam's rib. She bore her own source of light, independent of Adam." This sharply contrasts with the account in Genesis 2:21-22, where Eve is created from one of Adam's ribs. The Ethiopian Bible offers a more progressive view of gender equality than we might expect from its time. It implies an inherent equality between men and women from the very beginning, an idea that continues to challenge traditional perceptions even in the modern world. A particularly striking passage is found in the Ethiopian Book of Enoch 20:5-9, which describes the relationship between humans and nature. Before the fall, Adam and Eve could understand the language of every creature, from the smallest ant to the stars in the sky. They were not masters of nature, but guardians and interpreters of the voice of all things. This understanding suggests a harmonious relationship between humanity and the natural world, where humans were meant to coexist with, rather than dominate, the creatures and forces of nature. When we apply these ancient insights to the modern world, we begin to notice striking parallels. The Book of Konast 13:8-12 warns, "When humans lose the ability to understand the language of nature, They begin to see nature as a tool to exploit rather than a part of themselves. Is this not a perfect reflection of the environmental crisis we face today? As we become more disconnected from the natural world, we risk seeing it only as a resource to be consumed, rather than a living system with which we should coexist. Another significant passage in the Book of Kwale 9:15-19 states, "The fall is not just about eating the forbidden fruit, but about humans wanting to control and determine the laws of nature instead of living in harmony with them." In today's age of artificial intelligence and biotechnology, this warning becomes more pertinent than ever. As humans gain the power to shape life itself, we must ask ourselves, are we acting as stewards of creation or as those who seek to control and dominate it? An especially intriguing passage in the Ethiopian Book of Enoch 21:3-7 talks about the path to restoration. The path back to divine light is not about abandoning knowledge, but about learning to use it with humility and respect for the divine order. This suggests that true progress, whether in science, technology, or society, lies not in rejecting knowledge, but in using it responsibly, with an awareness of the broader cosmic order and the divine balance that must be respected. This suggests that true progress lies in finding a balanced approach between technological advancement and the preservation of spiritual and ethical values. The ancient teachings within the Ethiopian Bible offer a crucial framework for tackling the challenges we face today. They remind us that real progress isn't solely defined by technological breakthroughs or the acquisition of knowledge, but by our ability to use these advancements with wisdom and responsibility. The Book of Konast 14:1-4 concludes, "Each generation must face its own challenge in balancing knowledge and wisdom, progress and preservation, individual freedom and responsibility to the whole." This may well be the most important lesson the Ethiopian Bible imparts to us in the modern world. It calls for a deep reflection on how we engage with our advancements and the broader implications of our choices on humanity and the planet. As we conclude this journey, let's review the most significant values and lessons the Ethiopian Bible offers humanity in the 21st century, reminding us that the path forward requires not just progress, but a thoughtful integration of ancient wisdom into our modern lives. First, let's explore the unique research value these ancient texts offer. The Book of Konast, in its final chapter, verses 1-5, asserts, "These words are not just the heritage of one people, but a treasure of wisdom for all humanity. They contain not only history, but also profound insights into the nature of reality and human potential." From an academic perspective, the Ethiopian Bible offers a rare glimpse into the worldview of ancient civilizations. It provides scholars with invaluable information, not just about religious practices, but about how early cultures viewed existence, the divine, and the human role within the cosmos. The Book of Kwale, in its concluding chapter, verses 8-12, reminds us, each generation must read these words with new eyes, for they contain different layers of meaning suitable for each era. Culturally and historically, these texts are incredibly significant because they provide a fresh perspective on familiar stories. They challenge conventional understandings and invite readers to reconsider the traditional narratives of creation, the fall, and human potential, offering new depths of insight that transcend time. In the Book of Enoch, the final chapter, verses 15-19, it writes, "Truth is not a single story, but a synthesis of many different perspectives. Only by looking from many angles can we understand the whole picture." For the modern world, there are three particularly important lessons from the Ethiopian Bible. First, the relationship between humans and nature. The Book of Konast 15:3-7 teaches, "Humans are not the masters of nature, but the guardians and interpreters of the voice of all things." When we lose the ability to listen to nature, we also lose a part of our divine nature. This reflects a deep understanding of the interconnectedness between humanity and the natural world, encouraging us to see ourselves as stewards rather than exploiters of the earth. Second, gender equality. The way the Ethiopian Bible describes Eve being created from light, equal to Adam, provides a spiritual foundation for gender equality, something still heavily debated in modern society. This ancient text offers a view of creation where both men and women share the same divine essence, challenging the historical patriarchal interpretations. Third, responsibility with knowledge and power. The Ethiopian Bible teaches that knowledge and power are not inherently good or evil. It is the wisdom to use them responsibly that matters most. This is a crucial lesson for today's society, where the rapid advancement of technology and the growing concentration of power require a moral and ethical framework to ensure that progress benefits humanity rather than harms it. The Book of Kwale, the final chapter, verses 20 to 24, warns, "Knowledge is not for domination, but for service. Power is not for imposition, but for protection and nurturing." As we conclude this video, I want to share a personal thought. In the process of researching and learning about the Ethiopian Bible, what impressed me the most was not the strange details or unexpected revelations, but the consistency in its message. Humans have extraordinary potential, but that potential can only be realized through humility, compassion, and responsibility to the whole. The Ethiopian Book of Enoch, the final chapter, verses 25-28 concludes, "Each generation must face its own challenge, but the nature of the challenge remains unchanged: to live worthy of one's divine potential while maintaining humility and connection to the whole." Thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in more profound discoveries from ancient texts, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting videos. See you in the next video.